Welcome, everybody. So why don't we just close our eyes just for a few moments? Listen to Granada. We'll focus in. Same old thing week after week. We'll suspend our mind a little bit. And free awareness to experience its own self. We'll extend through our bodies. Awareness awakens awareness, doesn't it, ultimately? Awareness awakens its own self. And then extend to each other, which is, and who is our immediate situation? Inside to inside, direct, unmediated. So as we enter into this little matrix, then the extensions become much more powerful, right? Then we'll extend to the ancestors, the mothers and the fathers and the friends. In mutual support, the light meeting the light. We'll extend to all the great teachers we've really been so fortunate enough to meet and know. We'll extend to Lama Nora, his lineage, Kalu Rinpoche, Kakyu Karmapa. And he'll be coming here in a couple of weeks to give these fantastic teachings of Mahamudra, Majustri, and the Chode. We'll extend to him in support. We'll extend to him in the present, following Young Tam Rinpoche's instructions. We'll extend to him in the past. And extend him in the future. And extend from timeless awareness. Then we'll extend to all the different traditions that we participate in, with nowadays distance being so tiny, information so easy. We can enter many traditions, which are themselves fields of knowledge, information, and light. So slowly but surely, the tribal boundaries thin, and we become universal people. Feel the rising of self-arising presence. And then we'll extend to that dimension of our own awareness, which is so mysterious, ineffable, which is archetypical. The archetypical roots, the archetypical qualities that manifests in so many different forms of aliveness, vitality. And well, today we'll focus on, again, Majustri. Majustri is the archetypical energy that embodies direct perception, personalizes direct perception. There's a who in knowingness, opens that up. And it opens up the qualities of this powerful dimension of our own awareness, which is the light, the luminosity. So let's amplify our situation a bit, intensify it. Then we'll just rest for a few minutes in this open field. Of course, awakened awareness is not only in our bodies, but it's around us. It's in art. It's in matter. It's in music. It's in pain, it's in pleasure. It's in love. It's in hate. It's in everything and anything. Is everything and anything. So we're going to lower that chant now. And Laura, you're going to do that? Or great. Great, fantastic. And we'll press that little button. Fantastic. So we'll focus. Of course, my relationship with the computer is getting really more intense. I truly understand the phrase violain. No person was named that. It means love and hate. Trying to hold it in equanimity, like last week. It cuts off, but maybe it may be fixed, but we'll see what happens. So we'll focus for a few minutes. Last week was a lot of fun, wasn't it? And I really appreciate how, for the most part, everyone held awareness in a very intense way for 2 hours, right? So cool. So I'm just going to do a little follow-up, but let's stay in awareness. And I'd like to ask, let's see, Skip and Anna, just to, what was that like for them after? What remains? So we'll pass the mic again. We're actually entering into the very same place. Very, really helpful as doorways. What was it like? If you don't mind.
The during or the afterwards?
The after or during? Yeah, both.
See, the during was understatement. Fantastic. Incredibly intense. The different word is sort of like strains or ribbons of light. Some were my experience was distinct from each other, and some built on each other.
Built on each other as a building.
And in the building, there's an amplifying, and then in the amplifying more and more intensity, and then relaxing into the intensity to not be overwhelmed by it. And as Anna was describing her experiences, to me it was amazing how similar my experience was in part, and how also different at the same time. That there was a commonality and a difference. And she was using the exact same words I would have used. It had a stunning quality to it.
Stunning. Laura, would you turn the camera on the speakers?
And then afterwards, this part of me expected a lot of fireworks and showy displays, and there hasn't been any of that. Instead, it's like the experience is sort of like the petals of a flower that unfold, and it's more in the background than the foreground, just informing everything. I don't know how to put it.
Informing everything. Informing the experience as the background. Totally cool.
And then in part of that informing, the word I had used was agenda. Most of my personal agendas seems to have dissolved, even around Marilyn's health, which is hard to believe.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to say? Because when, again, people articulate their experience, it puts flesh and it opens everything up for all of us.
And there's been this very subtle, and I wasn't aware of it till I sat down just now, of, for want of a better word, who-ness moving more and more into the heart, and there's a lot of pressure. Just, kind of, I would almost think, I was having ongoing, unending heartburn, but it's not like that. But there's a lot of pressure.
A lot of that expansion of presence. Thank you so much. And Anna, there you go. Would you mind exchanging the experience of last week and then what remained?
Well, I was struck by the timelessness of it, that I didn't really have a sense of how long it lasted for. And it felt like I really had this strong sense of being a form that different almost dimensions or rooms just were opening up and flowing through very rapidly, and I was trying to there was so much that I couldn't put into words in every place that opened up, and like Skip said, they were all sort of similar, but they had different qualities, so different depths and breadths and kind of lights in them. And it felt like I remember as I kind of got into it, I sort of had to just let it pass through me. And some of them were kind of easy for me to access and be in, and some were harder. But the sense of dark silence kind of permeated all of them, and that has stayed with me, the silence really.
Thank you so much. We're going to focus in, and again, we're going to be doing we'll be doing this practice today. We're practicing next Wednesday and the following Wednesday. I think when Rinpoche comes, we're going to do the same practice that everyone has a chance to participate. And so when you're holding the field, you really want to hold the field just like you are right now. You want to have your mind and your awareness. If you only go into mind, it'll be very interesting, but ultimately really boring. So you bring your mind into your awareness, and you view and experience what's happening within the person, and you'll notice it's also happening within you. So now, sometimes people come and they're not feeling good, which is great. I really like people to come when they're not feeling good. But if you're not feeling good, you're going to kind of just rest and not follow those instructions. You with me? You're going to hang out, okay? You just hang out. Because these elements are the fire element, right? So we'll hold that together. And if you're not feeling well, you can just hang out. You can even lie down if you want. But if you're well, I would really like you to do this. To hold it. And we're going to pass a microphone to me. There's a white microphone there, right next to Anna. Sorry, we should have done this. Can you just pass it over? And Laura, you're going to turn up number 1. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Great. Now, I'm going to have different people again sit in the middle. Is it okay for you to sit right there? I'm a little blank right now. Great. Thank you. Patricia, it'd be okay for you to sit right there. Karen, you feeling well? Mm-hmm. You mind sitting right there? Kate, would you mind sitting right there? Then lie down. Great. Great. Heidi, would you mind sitting right there? We'll all have a chance to do this. And Elizabeth, would you sit right next to Heidi? Right there. You're going to back up a little bit. Maybe right, you could back up. We're going to hold everyone, okay? We're going to face and hold the people. And then Anna, you're going to sit next to me. And Skip, you're going to sit next to me. Okay? Because our theme is 2 awarenesses are better than 1, and 3 are even better than 2. Right? So if you want to come closer, you can, but we're going to hold awareness for all our friends. We're going to focus in. So Majustri, and this is the energy of the weekend is already coming, right? That's why it was super duper. And it can be on or off. But Majustri, we're going to start off with it sounds like an infomercial, doesn't it? And we're going to start off with the Mahamudra, which is becoming aware of awareness, but not in the typical fashion we use where we suspend our mind. In the Kagyu tradition, in the Mahamudra traditions, you go through the mind into awareness itself. It's actually very direct, but you need a little experience to really, it's not so heuristic like Dzogchen, where you go step by step by step. You with me? So it's very direct, entering in the field. He'll be giving the empowerments of that, the dynamic power of awareness, which is one of the empowerments that helps bring it forth. It's like any transmission is helping bring that forth which is already in us. It's not but it's out of that profound resonance. And having a great teacher like Lama Nurla is fantastic. Then we'll have in the afternoon Majustri. So we start invoking the archetypical dimension, the archetypes, those powers that manifest out of primordial awareness and its manifestation of the elements and these energies, these shaktis, these chis, and all different qualities of the vast Dharmakaya, pure awareness, manifest everything. But it's in these particular forms that are very universal and yet singular. Huh? And sometimes when we experience them non-dualistically. Oh, they're outside of me. Often we begin that way. And then as we do it, we then begin to experience it. C'est moi. Is my own self, the arising here. What's so great about Majustri? Majustri is one of the first empowerments we had here many years ago. But there's Majustri over there. See him? He's right the light, right in the middle. He's very beautiful. And the sword in his hand for cutting through obscurations, dissolving obscurations. And Saraswati, who's on the other side, right there, net behind, right next to Jeff, turn to the right, you see her there. And she's the feminine form of this wisdom of direct perception of the light, right? You guys following this, right? Then there's another form, the fierce form, Yamaka, which actually frees us from the fear of death, which is again in this fierce form of luminosity, the light. And then we're going to explore these different qualities of the light today. Everybody here? Let's say here. Here. Great. So now we're going to focus, and you want to be awake, right? So we're going to focus. So let's lean into the people in front of us. We'll do this for a while, then I'm going to pause and talk a little bit about language. Because last week and this week we actually experienced this enunciation through words and letters, signifiers and significance arising out of the energy, which is this relationship of energy and meaning, okay? And we'll talk about that again. So as we do this, we've been practicing, we're going to focus, and then the person will speak, that will go into their body, because the body is the medium of the field. They'll go into their body in the field, and then at the arising of the light, of the energy, of the experience, of that forms, and then they'll put them to words without referencing their mind, right? That is the thing we're learning together. And as that takes place, then we can experience very directly the non-duality that arises through language itself. So we're going to focus, and we're going to focus on the light of Majustri. And the light of Majustri is, there's this great text, this book, The Wisdom of Majustri, goes through the qualities of Majustri and through different ways as commentaries. But Majustri is gnosis, knowingness, which is light, direct knowingness. And so we will explore the qualities of the light of Majustri. And we'll explore them experientially, in the felt sense, One, two, three. So I'm going to start with Elizabeth. And at times I'll give you this. She's not going to hold it till you give it to her, okay? So, Elizabeth, you weren't here. You're just going to focus. I'm going to have you share your experience. We're going to go through it, and then Anna will put it in your hand, the microphone. But you can stay. You don't have to do anything. I want you to stay as focused as you can. Is this okay? And do you feel us sitting over here? Can you feel me right now a little bit? And can you feel Anna? Can you feel Heidi? Can you feel Lorette behind you? Can you? Yes, that's fine. Can you feel Skip? Can you feel the Tanka in front of you? Avalokiteshvara. Can you feel Swami Muktananda behind you, on the wall behind you? Can you feel Bhagavan on the right side, behind you over there? So we'll stay and we will start reading the qualities, okay, of the light. The first light of Manjushri, the first light of wisdom gnosis, that is completely innate to all of us. Not just in some point far away, some describe as a seed, chuckle, but rather the light is eminent in the human body, in all bodies. It is completely eminent in the flesh. Longchenpa. So the light, the first light, is the total light. And it's like the mandala of the sun. And by mandala, we simply mean the field of the sun. So we're not going to be imagining it, we're going to invoke it, right? Like the shamans invoke. Invocation. The sun becoming the luminous, bright sun. The sun, it's so intense. It cuts through, permeates, opens everything and anything. The sun of awareness that metabolizes everything, every experience, every moment. Our minds can only metabolize so much, and then they start to wear out, fall apart, disintegrate, great suffering. With awareness and the intensity of awareness, it can metabolize experience. It's like having a powerful digestion. We'll stay with this brightness. The bright. Sometimes it's so bright. Luminous, shining. Well, I'll hold this. Coming through the body. And Elizabeth, Anna's going to place the microphone in your right hand, and you're going to stay inside with the intensity. And at some point, if you don't mind, when you're ready, we can pause for a long time. You will allow the words, the energia, to arise from your lower body, arising and becoming words. You're not referencing your mind alone. You're referencing the arising of the energy, the sound, the syllables. Well, yes.
The darkness of the sun.
Louder with number 1, please, Laura. Mm-hmm.
Extends brightly.
And the master one too, hon. Whoop. It extends.
Brightly through throughout my being.
What does that feel like? What's the felt sense of that?
Like my skin is both burning and ice at the same time. And every pore is dancing and radiating. And the nectar flows back into my spine. Slowly. Oozing upward. Peace and quiet abound.
Yes?
I am that, and I am not that at the same time. There is nothing that is not the nectar of the light. And I know that in every cell of my being.
What's it like to know that so clearly at this moment? What's it like to know that so clearly at this moment?
It is the most gentle and joyous bliss I've ever known. There's no high, no low. There just is.
We're going to sit with you, and we're going to feel Elizabeth. Allow myself to feel her with her awareness. And you can place the microphone down, please, huh? Allow yourself to feel her. And Anna, what's it like as you feel Elizabeth? Could you pick the microphone up? And we're just going to, what's it like to feel her at this moment?
It feels like the sunshine is sort of dancing around in my belly and it's making waves up through my body. I feel Elizabeth in the whole room with light.
Thank you so much. So now we're going to focus, we're staying focused in Elizabeth, in Anna, and now we're extending that focus to Heidi. Can you do that? Say yes if you can do that.
Yes.
These are all useful methods. You can feel Heidi. You can feel thank you, love. You can feel Elizabeth, Anna, and now Heidi starts emerging. Can you feel her becoming more emergent? I'm going to focus. I'm going to read something from this text. To show, this is by Vilamantra, to show that Manjushri personifies the hearts of all the Buddhas, the present, the past, and the future, personifies the heart of primordial awareness. The root text says this, Shitohirdi, and it means, Shitohirdi means abides in the heart. Jnanamurti means wisdom, kaya, the dimension of wisdom, gnosis, knowingness. Aham Buddha means I am this knowingness, foundational knowingness. Buddhinam means I myself am this primordial awareness. Aham. I'm this nowness. We're now going to focus on the second light of Amrita, which is already being manifested through the first, which is extremely luminous, like the moon. Whereas the sun, the light of the sun, has its own fierceness, its cutting throughness. The light, the luminosity of the moon is like the moon shining in the water, or the moon bright but soft, nurturance. Luminous, nurturance, passes through everything and anything. We're invoking that now, the light of the moon. In the great texts, they often go together. There's the light of the sun, and the light of the moon, and the light of the lotus. We'll focus on the light of the moon, invoking that. And Anna, would you place this in Heidi's? We may have to lower the main thing a little bit, just a teeny little bit. The main guy. Focus. 1, 2. And Heidi just feeling it arising. Not referencing mind, but referencing the self-arising of the energia, the sublime vibrations, becoming sound, pausing mind. And when you feel something arising, you can put it into words. This experience of moon moonlight. Well, feel Heidi and whatever arises, arises.
It's a little bit of an undescribable place where with the quality of the earlier blasting intensity of light on top kind of merged with it is now this soft embrace, which is so soothing and does have this, rather than the piercing quality I felt earlier, now it has this soothing glow, like the glow of the moon in the autumn.
Beautifully described. Glasin, the glow. Radiance, self-radiance, love. Light as love. Light as the great.
It is light, but it does have this paradoxical quality that it arises from the intensity of the blasting fierceness of the early light.
Yes. It arises out of that naturally. It's really useful for all of us to know. In that way, the moon has vast power of transformation.
There is the power that comes from the early intensity, and I don't need to give up the power in order to feel the softness.
That is so useful for you to say that to all of us, because it cuts through certain religious delusions. You're going to stay with your experience, love. So we can feel Heidi, we can feel Elizabeth, and we can feel Anna. Do not stay wrapped up in your own mind. If you can, follow the instructions. They're like little turn right, turn left. Just for right now. Feel the three people. Say yes if you feel them. Mm-hmm.
And there's also the liberation of the glow that initially I felt it within me, but it is now extended, that the glow and its softness and the spaciousness embraces the whole room.
I love the word liberation to the light.
It's almost like confirming that the sun and the moon can travel together.
Yes. The sun and moon are in oneness. Ultimately the same light. We're now going to focus on the third light. First, we'll focus on Karen, through Heidi, through Anna, through Elizabeth. We'll focus with Karen. And Karen, can you feel me over here? And can you feel Heidi? Great. And we're going to focus down. The third light is the light of space, because it is so simply present, just like space. So it's like space as light, clear light, and light as space. We'll focus on space, present, open, unbound, beyond all horizons, open, depth, breath, space. Sky-like awareness. Open. Lana, would you place the microphone in Karen's left hand or right hand? We'll just focus. And Karen, just when you're ready, you can articulate through words what your experience is of this light as it arises from within your body, from the ground up. There's no rush. We're all feeling Karen inside to inside, co-emergent.
Like entering the mouth of a cave. Walking into a vast open space. I can feel the pulsation of my heart beating.
Do you like the throb of the pulsation?
It reminds me of the potential in this space.
Yes. Potential space. Pure potentiality.
A throb is in my belly. Its space is weightless, like the little puffs of dandelions, lions, puff.
expansive, lifting up, merging with the stars.
Are you the expanse at this moment?
Yes, that is it.
That is it.
It's a breath with no boundaries. Ah. Filling the space of my being. Ah. Filling the space all around me. Lifting up. Expanding out. Entering the fullness.
Because I'm connected with you at this moment, I'm experiencing what you're experiencing, both through the energy of your field and your words simultaneously. There's a givenness that takes place. Co-emergent.
It's like, just like being the bubbles in the mercury. We bounce off of each other and just, there's no preconceived design.
Yes. Exquisitely said. No preconceived agenda, design. Spontaneous.
It's the great heart. Where everyone breathes from.
Thank you so much. We'll pause, not leaving, we're just pausing and experiencing what's taking place. There's the word abhasa. Abhasa means opening and closing, extending and coming back. So in the naturalness of things, at times you will feel the extension start to return to you. It is not a bad thing. It is just how it pulsates, so then you extend it back to the people who are articulating for us, or where the field is coming through their voices for us. So, move to Patricia, and we go from Karen to Patricia, and from Karen, from Heidi, from Elizabeth, Anna. We'll extend to Patricia. We'll feel Patricia. Expanding. Sometimes mouth open. The fourth light of Manjushri, the personification of Gnosis. The fourth light is the Vajra light. And this level is so delightful. It has its own delight. And it is Vajra. It is indestructible. It is unborn and undying. Vajrakumara. Unborn, undying, timeless. Ahama. Invoking it. The Vajra. And Skip, would you place the microphone in Patricia's hand, please, in her right hand? Patricia, you can pause and just referencing whatever arising from the matrika without referencing your mind, hon.
There's an energy moving through me and into me that began as soon as I went into awareness today, before we came into this formation. I've never felt an energy quite like this before, ever. It began streaming in through my crown. And it has been streaming in steadily down through my third eye, my entire body, through into the throat, and it's now residing in the heart and continuing down, and yet it's also permeating everything. The energy is like a cloud. It has that kind of gentleness and softness and the ability to permeate every cell. And yet, it has in it a resilience, a strength, and a fierceness that is so powerful. As it's entering the different chakras and the different cells, it's illuminating those places. It's acquainting me with those places, both with the chakras I know of and with other centers in between. And it's also giving me the access to the experience that I have the same essence in me as the stars way, way out there, and it's not a fact and it's not a thought. It just came in, that knowing.
Beautifully and so clearly described that we can all know.
And there's a vastness to it as the energy enters these places in me, and there are biological shifts going on. And there's a vastness to it. Like I can feel part of everything, and yet it is very intimate as well, just within me.
Yes. That's amazing, that point, isn't it? Where it's so intimate, and yet everything.
It allows me to feel my connection to the cosmos, again, not a fact, not a thought, just a knowing. And yet it also allows me to love this soul that's on this journey and become closer to this soul, which is just me.
Singularity. The exuberance of singularity in this world. Sometimes the yogis say a phrase means I alone exist. That's the context how we understand that. That exuberant singularity. Nothing to do with isolation.
And when that happens for me, there's no fear, there's no doubt, there's no worry. There's nothing else but that intimacy.
Intimacy. The great Zen master from Minnesota, whose name I forget, he wrote The Beginner's Mind and says Zen is intimacy. Total intimacy. That's why it's so hard for us at times, because it is so intimate. We'll stay with this for a moment. Anything else arising that you'd like to put to words, Patricia?
This energy knows the rhythm and the timing of how it's moving through me. And it's now traveling down past the heart. There's nothing I need to do. It simply knows how to fill me and take me where I need to go.
Thank you. We're going to extend from Elizabeth to Aaron now. And across from Aaron we can extend to Skip. These extensions will help you stay in the dimension where the words are being articulated from. And so now we'll feel Aaron. The fifth light of Manjushri, who so personifies the hearts of all the Buddhas, Shiva, Christos, a heart essence, Hridayam. The fifth is called the light of the jewel light. Where in this jewel, this light, where one abides in empowerment, where one abides in empowerment. This is the light of empowerment. This is the power of the empowerment. The Shakti, the Chi of empowerment, abiding in this light. This is the place where empowerments arise and where empowerments are experienced and received. Place of empowerment. Jewel-like awareness, light, pristine, diamond-like awareness. And Skip, would you place the microphone in one of Aaron's hands? And when you feel ready, would you mind articulating this unfolding of your experience into words and letters?
This place of no place, the place of joy. The feeling of falling has fallen away as well. The feeling of going through, of passing through, of moving is still. And at its heart is this vital aliveness. The I that is me has fallen away, the I of self, of indestructibility, of spaciousness, of light infusing into liquid, warm and cool at the same time, is all present. This place is a place free of expectation. And yet, I am still here.
Beautifully enunciated. Would you mind saying that last phrase again for all of us, please?
I'm not sure I can.
That is okay.
It will not be the same words. I wasn't following them.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get new words.
Any new ones arising?
It hasn't quite broken all frames, but it's broken many. And not broken is not right, but there is no expectation in this place, and yet there is an enormous vitality of self.
Yes. I think you may be moving to another light where all illustrations are shattered.
It's hard to step.
We're going to pause. And Skip, do you feel Aaron at this moment?
Yes.
What is that like, experiencing her or through her at this moment?
It, as she was describing her experience, so it was changing as she described it, and as the experience right now is, for want of a better word, all my frames of Aaronness have been shattered.
Thank you so much.
And it's just pure.
I'm going to take the mic from you. I'm going to pass it back to Elizabeth, okay? We're going to stay in the field. We're feeling Aaron and Skip, feeling the people next to us extend next to you. Two awarenesses are better than one. Extending from, and then extending back in this mutual amplification of support. So now we're going to go to the next light. The lotus light is the sixth light, the lotus. As it is wide, wide open, this light is wide, wide open. Just like a lotus opens. Open. The wide openness of this light, unbound. Every place, any place. Every place, any place. And this sets up the next sequence after. And Elizabeth, would you mind describing your experience as it arises, please? And stay with the intensity.
Well, when you first spoke it, I saw a clear crystal being dropped into a pool of water. And then my whole being feels like the concentric circles that created, just going round very gently. As if I can't believe it could expand more than it has before. The spaciousness. There's so much awe. And I'm very aware of shifts in the connections physically. Between my pelvis and my eyes and my heart and my mind. There's like a rewiring.
Yep.
And an opening and a relaxing.
Is that delicious?
It is very delicious.
Just stay with that in the embodiment of the flesh.
And there's no doingness. There's not even... It just is. There's not even a choosing. It just is.
Feel Elizabeth? So we're going to move now to the next light. And we're moving to Heidi. That's intensified without effort. Intensification and effort are not the same. You really want to know that difference. The seventh light of Manjushri, the noble person, is the light of action. Because dharmic activity is performed. Or as the Shaivite masters would declare over and over again, knowledge is action. We'll focus on light of action. Light as action. activity of the Buddha or Shiva. Action. Effortless action. And Anna, would you mind placing the microphone in one of Heidi's hands? We should all feel Heidi and Karen, Elizabeth, Patricia, Aaron.
Does feel like all the power of the cosmos has been brought back and is embodied in me, dissolving any potential conflict between the cosmic energies and my actions in this world. It does give the support to be both graceful and fierce when needed.
We'll rest in what she's saying. Do you feel oneness with Heidi? Did you feel her words in oneness at the same time as words?
It does feel like any doubt has been wiped away, and there's just this inner knowing of what's right, action.
Beautifully said for all of us. I'll stay with that. And naturally we move to the eighth light of Majestri. And we'll focus from Heidi within Karen. The eighth light is called incomparable. Incomparable. And there's no apt comparison for its meaning. It takes us beyond words and letters. And Anna, would you place the mic in Karen's hand? I should stay awake. If someone's asleep, wake them up. And when you're ready, Karen, you can. How you doing, Karen? I think you're the next slide.
It's incomparable to
Cannot be said. Thank you, love. Thank you. Just slow it down. So, we'll move to the next slide. Okay?
There's no reference.
There's no reference.
It's a pure blessing.
So we'll stay with Karen on this one also because it's very similar. The 9th light is exemplary, meaning every illustration, every word, every signifier is shattered through and through.
That is the sword, I believe. So, whatever the meaning is cut, and the true meaning is revealed.
Beautifully described. We'll focus for a moment. And now we're going to move to Patricia. The last three of the light of Majustri. Now the 10th light is Prajna. The light of Prajna. The light of Gnosis. The light of direct perception. The light of Gnosis. Knowingness. Gnosis. This is the unsurpassed light of the Buddhahood, of that dimension. We'll focus there. Let me do this with confidence. Skip, would you place the microphone in Patricia's hand?
The energy that I was describing is now fully enveloping me everywhere. And I'm at a perfect balance point. There's contentment, yet there's aliveness. There's no need to do anything, and yet I could spring into action. There's no awareness of my body, and there's a full awareness of my body. So I'm holding these opposites at the perfect balance point. And during that, there's a pulsation going through me that is so enlivened. It's so enlivening and enlivened. And the other experience that I've been having is that there's a poem that I've known for a long time that's been a touchstone, and it's moving through me. And every line of it is now, I'm going to a deeper place of what this poem is describing, and I'm going there.
Would it be okay for you to describe the poem as you're moving?
Would you like me to?
Yes, please.
Inside this new love, die. Your way begins on the other side. Become the sky. Take an axe to the prison wall. Escape. Walk out like someone suddenly born into color. Do it now.
You're covered with thick cloud. Slide out the side, die, and be quiet. Quietness is the surest sign that you've died. Your old life was a frantic running from silence. The speechless full moon comes out now.
I'll just stay where we're at right now. I'm going to slide into the next light. This is the 11th light. And this is the light of actual omniscience, knowingness, all-knowingness, omniscience. This is the great light of sublime luminosity in everything and everyone. This light knows no otherness. I'll focus on that for a moment. Here's where they describe that the Buddha is the Dharmadhatu, or the person experiencing that is everything known from within. I'll stay with this. And Skip, would you mind placing the microphone in Erin's hand, so you can articulate her experience of this invocation?
With the light of omniscience, carries the prajna light and all before it, through it and through it. It's gone, it's gone. It's way beyond. There is no out or in. I am not inside myself. I am not outside myself. I am beyond self. If I look at or gaze at the Tanka of Manjushri, I see and feel and hear and touch the sword all at once. The sword is held up aloft and still by the threads woven in the Tanka. And it is not still. It is not in the Tanka. Why look there? It is here. It is here. It is in us. It is always here. And we wield it. And we know. We cut. We soothe. We build. We tear down until there is nothing left to do. And we have the sword. We are the sword. There is no sword. That is omniscience.
Thank you so much. We'll have one more. The 12, the final, and these last three are together, is intrinsic awareness. Fully known to itself, in itself, of itself. This is the final accumulation of Manjushri's wisdom. We'll all hold that one ourselves. And we'll articulate it to our own self. So time is moving along. Here we are. We're going to end this phase just like we did yesterday. We're going to clap 3 times. Ready? Like sealing it. I would like everyone, if you don't mind doing this practice, I'd like us to practice this during our meditations, at least part of the meditation, and we have the retreat with Lama Norla. So it's very powerful, this sequencing, and everyone can do it. And I think I'm going to have to copy this out and send it to you, and then you can send it to everybody. Be okay? Great. Type this out. Boom, boom, boom. Good. And is everyone on that little listserv? If we can get this way, okay? Also, if you want to buy the book, it's really a great book. It's a book that brings you into it. Okay, so we're going to focus here for a minute. I hope everybody's having a great time. But I'm going to read you a little Heidegger right now, okay? Why would a person do this? But staying in your awareness, okay? Just hang out. But stay in the awareness state. But we're going to stay focused for a minute. Okay, let's focus on this reading, please. So wisdom is foundation knowing awareness. Then he says this. Because being is philosophical, a person must venture into philosophy, and through philosophy into the whole, so that the allotment unto being as the ground of the person's possible history is owned over to that person, in owning, making it your own. Only through the like is the like raised into the clearing, which is owned most to the like, the clearing of the light, huh? Philosophy does not deal with something, neither with beings in the whole, nor with being. Philosophy is the imageless saying of being itself. And this statement is not a statement made about being. Rather, being sways as this saying. Philosophy is such a saying, or it's nothing at all. The rest is complicated erudition, which has mistaken its object and is therefore neither useful nor productive. Nor does it ever even touch upon a decision in philosophy. Amidst the confusion that is spreading now, the highest measure comes only from what is most profoundly own most to philosophy, and promises mindfulness a direction. The most exacting test faces the thinker, the thoughtful person, namely that as long as statements are made about something, the thoughtful person does not even operate within the field of questioning. So I really love that a lot, and I really like how everyone was articulating not about something, but articulating their experience so directly that we could all experience it so directly. Say yes if that makes sense to you. Let me just make a few more little comments. We have 10 more minutes, because I think having understanding, what ultimately becomes non-conceptual understanding, helps us hold practice. There is a oneness between understanding and practice. Okay, so I'm going to just say a little bit more about words and letters. And we've been running through this the past year a lot about words and letters, right? Because this is the fruitionless of being able to articulate directly, that swaying from your own experience is a manifestation of non-duality into duality through the medium of the body and through words. So I will just read a little bit. You have to bear up with this a little bit. Let's stay alert, though. Language is not simply about signs and signification. There's a tension between wording and word signs. Language is not simply the notation of sign and signification. Rat. Oh, little furry animal. 4 feet, long tail, eating cheese. Rat. Okay? Language is not simply the issue of signs and signification, But language is the emergence and manifestation of being within human beings through human beings. Do you think we experienced that this morning? Do you think we experienced that this morning? Being's disclosure of being to beings through human beings eventually becomes signs and symbols. The energetic manifestation unfolds into signs and symbols of signification. Being manifests as a felt sense of sublime vibration and pulsations of energy, becoming sound, becoming letters, and becoming words. Say yes if that feels out of your experience. In mind alone, when you and I are in mind alone, there's only the emphasis of the play of signification and the unfixed relation between signified and signifier. It means, that for that tail, that little animal, dog. So the fixation between signifier and it's not fixed. There's a nominalist to the language component. So in mind alone, when I'm in mind alone, that's all I will know. I will stop knowing at the end of the sentence. In mind alone. In mind alone, there's only the emphasis on the play of signification. The language of awareness knowingness is the language of sublime vibrations, pulsations, and the direct felt sense. Mind alone is information, whereas in the language of awareness, knowingness, and within awareness, this awareness field is informing. Skip used that word this morning. Informing. We're informed. Bringing into experience beingness and the manifestation of being itself. So language is so close when spoken from awareness that being itself manifests in ourself and others, That is really quite cool to know that. Language within the field. And as the field. Language is in the field and it is as the field. So was that Patricia talking? Or the field articulating through Patricia? Being articulated through her voice, her body. Language within the field and as the field expresses and manifests the energy of the word. The word both written and spoken is the energy of the field of being embodied within us. The energetics and the field dimension of words and letters gives and invokes the felt sense of being to beings. Language is the manifestation of being within beings. Language is the medium of the field, just as the body is the medium of the field. Really? That's why in our wonderful little group here, when some people speak, when they talk, if you're in the field, you experience it so directly, both as words and as meaning and as the energetic dimension. We're almost done. Language arising within the body, it arises within the body, is a medium of the field of human embodiment. Language invokes the field, communicates the field, and rides within and through the field. Sound, sound is the vibration of the field. Articulated sound is the field becoming words. Sound is not only spoken, but sound is the very syllables of the field. Sound and articulated symbols manifest the field within beings as being. By giving being to beings, there's an opening for symbolic signification and signifier. So if someone's speaking to me this way and begins to open, my mind becomes open to both what's being communicated to me so directly, the base of the field of vibrations. Then as I can translate it from my mind to signifier and signified, I then know what's happening. And that is not easy for people. You hear that as people share experiences. No matter how much education, nothing is being known at this level. And that's a profound tragedy. It's a profound tragedy. We'll stay a little bit more. By giving being to beings, because it disappears. The moment may be open, but the sustaining and remaining in awareness requires understanding at some level. Do you feel what I'm saying? Yes. Without understanding. Saying, it really was great then. I don't quite remember it anymore. There's just some reverberation. It was so great. Memory. Memory alone. Almost done. Words as signs alone reflect language through the prism of meaning and the signification of mind. Mind is representation of ideation, words and letters as mentalistic. Do not confuse ideation with thoughtfulness. Representation of ideation is not the same as non-conceptual awareness and non-conceptual thoughtness, direct understanding. Almost done here. Words as expressions of embodied experience, as embodied experience of the field, is the way language traverses space and energy within humanness. It's actually cultural. This is like a cultural moment. Such language is direct communication and direct experience simultaneously within duality and non-duality. Language arises out of and from within non-duality into duality. Words as signs of mind alone arise out of duality and remain in duality. When you focus within the experiential field, deep within the embodied field, and you can stay with the ascendancy of sublime vibrations becoming sounds and words, you can speak from within non-duality into duality. And arises within duality, non-duality. Say yes if you follow what I'm saying. The self-arising articulations, the experience of expression as words, will bring forth the field of being within your own being and around you. We always rather pray to otherness than hold the power of the light in our own voice and our own body. Like passing the buck. And sustaining impotency of the light. Speech within awareness brings forth and deepens the experience of the field of being within you and between you and another in the field. Non-duality opens to you, and you and others are brought into the non-duality of experience within the duality of me and you. Say yes if that makes sense. Vibration leads to words which results in signs and signification, all taking place within the field of being, which is the field of awareness. Thus energy and signification are both experienced simultaneously, felt within us and beyond us. The felt sense is prior to signification and yet simultaneous with signification. The felt sense opens to signification within the field of being. Last paragraph. Conceptuality, all concepts, all conceptuality arises out of the non-conceptuality of awareness. Non-conceptuality and conceptuality are ultimately indivisible. What? Indivisible. Sometimes they're split and dissociated arbitrarily. That's a tragedy when the mind is split off from the embodiment of the field, right? Then things that could happen do not happen to that person. Conceptuality cannot be separated from tonality. The field and tonality of the field sustain relations that are directly experienced through the field. The wording arising within the field eventually bringing forth the signification and framing arising within the field of knowingness and understanding. The preconceptual or non-conceptual gives space and opening to conceptual thinking. There's a tension between words and signs meaning. Within the field is pulsation, and words, signs meaning, arises within us simultaneously. So there is a self-arising from non-duality into duality. And the self-arising is co-emergence between experience and meaning within the field. And then there's a co-emergence of the energy and meaning within the field of pulsation, signification, which actually brings us into non-duality with each other. I think that's one of the things Heidegger says not to do. But I hope you guys had a good time today. I hope you're having some understanding and you're gaining mastery of your voice. Mastery of your voice. This paper's not online, but I'm looking for an editor. Did you edit it? Thanks. I'll send it to you. Okay, great. Is that okay with you? Right. You can emblemish it too. Right? So, we're ordinary people, just about as ordinary can be, to tell you the truth, right? But we have body, mind, and voice, right? And the voice has this power, right? Thank you, guys. We'll meet next Wednesday. We'll go over it more, and we'll go over it one more time. And we should be able to finish everybody being in this. If we can't finish everybody, I may have a special session. I want everybody who's going to the retreat to complete this. You with me? I want you to complete this practice. You with me? And we're gaining mastery of the practice. Because the practice comes to us if there's an opening. You with me? And the transmissions and empowerments are already moving here. You with me? Always ahead of time. A-okay? Hasta la vista? And see you later. Thank you, guys. Everybody is so articulate. Huh? Isn't it amazing? Ooh. Oh, Heidegger? No, the source of this is Heidegger. It's from Heidegger.
Is that what you were reading?
That's where I read from Heidegger.
Okay.
You can read that there. I think it's page 53. Page 53. You had a good time? You were thinking this beforehand, right?
I'm not on the listserv. Is there a way that
You're
I
not.
can get...
You have to be in the seminar, be on the listserv. So I'm not going to put you on. Okay. I really like the listserv just to be for the list because people share their experiences. Okay. Okay. And what's her name again? What's her name? Yeah, Amy. Can you take the people that are not here off the listserv? Because I'd like people sharing it where it's received accordingly. Okay. That'd be great, love. That would be great if you don't mind doing it. They should do that, yes. That'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you, love.
I'm so glad we're going through this multiple times. Because
I would just do one of our practices.
and different aspects
Come through.
and arise.
I forgot to turn on the recording. If you remind me always to turn the recording on.
I don't know about that word.
We've always taught reading
Yes, it is.
Yes, me too. I'd love to.
But I didn't even start laughing because it was a different rendition of it. That's too long. I completely flashed. Oops. Can you see me come down in a minute? Yes, I completely flashed. Over to you. It wasn't that kind of, it was like a 2 Yeah.